Good morning. It's day 48 of Marcus and me, and it's getting hot out here. Wyatt's not digging this weather. Let's go see what Marcus has to say. Today's 48th meditation begins. Don't let yourself forget how many doctors have died. After furrowing their brows over how many deathbeds, how many astrologers, after pompous forecast about others' ends, how many philosophers, after endless disquisitions on death and immortality, how many warriors, after inflicting thousands of casualties themselves, how many tyrants, after abusing the power of life and death atrociously, as if they were themselves immortal. How many whole cities have met their end, Helike, Pompeii, Herculaneum, and countless others, and all the ones you know yourself, one after another. One who laid out another for burial and was buried himself, and then the man who buried him, all in the same short space of time. In short, know this: human lives are brief and trivial. Yesterday, a blob of semen. Tomorrow, embalming fluid, ash. To pass through this brief life as nature demands, to give it up without complaint, like an olive that ripens and falls, praising its mother, thanking the tree it grew on. Marcus Aurelius, day 48 in book 4. That's pretty profound there. You might have to rewind that and listen to it again. What are you doing on this Mushroom Monday? You gonna sleep on my books? Why it's sleepy in the summer. You don't like the summer. It gets too hot. The one thing that I love about Marcus Aurelius, and I've said this before, is that if you have an inflated ego, if you think you're the cat's meow, if you think there's nobody else like you, he really puts into perspective just how small you actually are, because it's really you have to come to that humility to build yourself back up again. You have to come to that, humble yourself before God, and work on getting rid of pride, because certainly we all need to have an ego, because that's who we are down here. You just don't need a super ego, an overinflated ego. But that's the beauty of like studying history or just reading through this, is that you realize how short your lifespan is. And in some ways, when you start getting into that line of thinking, you could say, I'm really not that special, so it doesn't matter. When you get that pride that's swelling up, whether it's, in your own mind or in a confrontation with another person, you're like, well, you know what, this ain't nothing new. So it's really great, because it's almost like you can picture what he's saying like a world stage. Doctors just getting so burnt out trying to save, or patient after patient, or crying over patient dying after patient dying. Yeah, definitely gives you a greater capacity and a backbone to actually be of use in the time frame that you have here, and still have compassion. because certainly you don't want to be cold and psychopathic towards people or uncaring, but you also need to have some level of compassion to be able to hold space for others. So, great reading from Marcus today. Hope you all are enjoying your Monday, or will enjoy your Monday. We're supposed to have more storms on the docket today, and it's definitely muggy and buggy. Beauty of living in the mountains of West Virginia is that you're always, if you're looking, finding interesting rocks. And I don't think I've shown you all this one, but it looks like an opening to a portal or a tree in the sunlight. I'm going to paint something on it. I like to try to work with the natural variations in the stones, but I also found, and this is really cool, me and a friend were down the river. See if we can pick it up on camera. Look at this. It's a tiny fossil. Dang it. It won't focus. Now it's really, there we go. Look at that. It's a tiny fossil in this rock. And it's just like in this little outcropping of the hole. There's like a hole and then there's this tiny little shell fossil. It's amazing. And then I've found this one on the side of the road. It's a shell. And then Allison brought me this one yesterday. This is a crinoid. And that was in her driveway. That is the beauty of West Virginia. You realize how ancient this land is, our planet. And just like our Marcus reading today, it puts life into perspective. It puts your lifespan, or it should. So I definitely feel like it's putting my lifespan into a direction. Like you're heading down, not up. Well, I'm close to heading up. I've been down for a lot longer now. So definitely interesting. This is a really nice one though. It's dead center in that. So get out there and fossil hunt if you ever get to West Virginia. There are lots of sites up here to look for those signs that show us that this too shall pass. Might hurt, but it'll pass. Check out this big pancake mushroom that I've found on the side of my country road here. There's a little one here. There's another big one up there in the woods. Check that out. Mushroom Monday.